welcome to another episode of the Extremely Casual Gamers podcast with Ellie, Chris and Guy. This is a casual gaming podcast for the everyday gamer. And on today's show, I hear we have anecdotes, guys, first of all. We've got anecdotes.
Up the wazoo.
Oh.
I've got one.
Yes, I've got
an anecdote as well.
Nice.
When you said up the wazoo, I thought you were going to say up the waz then, and I was like, oh my God, Guy's about to talk rugby league with me. And no, we are not.
No, I'm back. Thank you for holding the fort last week, team. I was very sick, it turned out.
Yeah.
I really overestimated my capabilities. It was good I didn't come in.
Hemorrhoids are a hard one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not this time.
Yeah.
That was last time.
Yeah.
That's true. Sorry, you have them so often it's hard to keep track.
That's very true, actually. So no, I'm back, and I had a good restful week, and I did listen to last week's episode. So thank you for that. Just a lot of bloody boy chat, though. I was bloody no female voice really jarred me. No,
See, I felt like it was better.
What, because it flowed? Was it?
That wasn't even a clever joke. That was just, I felt like it was better.
Asshole.
Yeah.
Question, actually. We talked about split fiction and how I made a prediction that when you play split fiction with your partner Sam, you think that he's getting mad at you for being not as good at the game. And then
Guy was actually talking about him and his wife.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
No, but I was like, is that how you play it? Like, you think, oh, Sam's getting mad at me because I'm not very good at him, and then I'm getting mad at Sam because he's getting mad at me, and Sam's just sitting there like...
Yeah, I'm fine. He was actually to be honest, there were a couple of times where like he would be straight across on something and I would be just, but he'd kind of laugh with me, and I always then felt a bit like, and honestly, everything he said, like this is the line I kept getting from him. Slow your game down, Ellie.
Just
slow it down. Because I'm like,
Sam.
Just white knuckling it.
Just Sam, just hit him with it. It's fine, babe. Don't worry about it. Instead of the slow it down.
No, that's good advice, though.
It's like when someone's getting angry and going, calm down. It's like, it's the worst thing to say.
No, but that's
it works.
telling you to be calm, but he's saying, no, just slow it down. It'll be sweet. Take your time with it.
Yeah, it really did.
You're trying to speed run it.
I was just stressed because he was doing it so quickly, and I'm like, I need to do it. But then, honestly, slowing the game down actually meant I was progressing faster, ironically. This actually just leads, I know it's not anecdote time yet, but I just will mention it here because it's organically come up. We finished Split Fiction, guys.
Hey!
We've done it.
Wow, that's good work.
We've done it.
Oh, self-applause.
Woo,
Yeah,
thank
that's
you.
good.
Yeah, we'll do it with you. Yeah.
Now, I will say, we actually finished it before last week's episode, but then I got sick, so I couldn't come in and tell you my good news. So technically, it was like, 4 weeks that we took to do that?
Well done.
I think it's a new record. So next week, maybe I'll do one of my classic Ellie reviews.
Nice.
You know, you can look forward to that.
On Split Fiction.
What did you think at the end? Were you gutted because it was over?
I was really gutted when it was over, and the creativity on that. And that last chapter as well, I'm like, I don't want to spoil it, but it's just so creative.
It's
such a
literally
great
splitting.
game.
Like,
it's literally Split Fiction. And then the backstories for both characters, and just, I loved it for so many reasons. I think, honestly, like you say, it's one of my favourite games I've ever played.
Yeah.
And I would play it again, and I'd recommend it to anyone, even gamers who aren't really, who are casual like me. It is achievable. Just slow your game down.
Take your time with it.
Yeah, so no, we finished that, and now we're in that luller game where it's like, what are we going to do now? Like, we need more. We need more. I want another one like that. It's such a good game.
So good.
And you can tell that there's love that's gone into it, and it's got meaning in it, and yeah, I just loved it. So I'll do a little review next week.
Luckily, Hazelight have already said that they're working on the next title. So give it a few more years.
So good.
And they'll come up with another banger.
Banger.
Should we do some listener feedback?
Yeah, let's jump into that.
Let's do it.
Listener feedback brought to you by... me.
I was like, shit, we got a sponsor.
Zach Fairman, he says, how do you get out of a gaming slump? I keep booting up my PC and staring at my games library before inevitably scrolling on TikTok or watching something on YouTube. Any tips on how to get back into gaming when you just can't get immersed? A lot of people joining in on this, including Beck Harwood.
Beautiful. Cousin Beck.
Cousin Beck. This sounds lame, but take a little break. Do you enjoy movies, TV shows, books? I often find that I'm having the exact issue. Just jump into something for a bit of a reset. Now, a lot of the comments were saying exactly that. Weirdly enough, when you can't think about what to game, don't think about gaming and do something else.
But also, like, gaming is something you should do for fun, right?
Yeah.
You should be like, I want to have fun. There's that game I want to play. I'll play it. If that is not currently the situation, don't do it.
But I think
it'll come back.
In his sense, it's like, I love gaming and I want to have fun, but I don't know what game to play to have fun.
Yeah.
You know, and then it puts a lot of pressure on you to make that decision.
Yeah, right. So I'm so glad I just don't.
You don't have that.
That's the benefit. That's the benefit of how you play games, because you play games to completion, which means that you stick to one game and you've got that brain that allows you to do it. And you also pick these massive games, so you've always got a back
massive,
catalog,
highly rated, like 9 out of 10 games every single time.
I'm playing Far Cry 6, which I'm really enjoying, but I have no idea what I'm going to play next, and I don't know when I'm going to finish that game. So I know Ghosts of Yotei is coming out in October, so in theory that's probably going to be the next game, but my brain does not think ahead.
Mine
yours
does. So right now, for example, just for those listening, Dark Souls, I've almost finished it, loved it.
Yeah. Wow.
I was like, do I go straight into Dark Souls 2? No, I'm going away on holiday soon, so my idea is I'll finish Dark Souls, not play anything else, go on holiday, come back, start a fresh game. I'm actually thinking I don't want to go straight into another Dark Souls. I might do maybe Death Stranding 2. Out of nowhere. Maybe I never finished the Hitman missions. I've done 2/3 of them. I started playing Hitman ages, and I'm just like, all I know is that on the horizon is Kingdom Come Deliverance, is Baldur's Gate 3, and there's just
a couple of small indie titles.
Tiny little indie titles that are just hanging over me, plus the other two, Dark Souls 2 and 3. Plus Lies of P has now got a DLC. Like, oh my God, I do not have enough time.
Yeah.
I've got the opposite issue.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Chris Serene, aka Chris the Trucker, who's been a huge part of the podcast for ages. He's done a couple of posts, one of them being, outside of gaming, what other hobbies do people in this group have? For me, I search out filming locations. Can you figure out what movie this building is in? From Salt Lake City, and took a photo of the building. My guess was The Equalizer, the one with Denzel Washington. I don't know why my brain went to it. Somebody else in the group suggested that as well. It wasn't The Equalizer. It was from Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, right.
So he went to the filming location. I think that's a really cool hobby to do, especially with his job, because he does a lot of driving around the country in the United States, and a lot of movies are filmed there. So to go to filming locations. Jewelry gaming is my main hobby. Second hobby is martial arts. Keep a little bit of fitness up.
Kicking ass,
Miriam, big on board games. Polder, I love to read and listen to books, audiobooks, comics, manga. Brenda. Did I say it wrong?
Manga. You said manga. I don't know why that sounded weird, but yeah.
Brenda, she says that she rides horses. So it is kind of cool.
Wow.
A lot of these people have got, gaming as their main hobby, but there are other facets.
What are our other hobbies, guys?
Reading. I love reading.
Nice. Yeah.
Ellie?
Diagnosing people.
I've got you are like my wife, right? Not that she diagnoses people. That she doesn't have like a hobby thing.
Yeah, like another tangible.
A thing where she's like, oh, Lucy, my wife, loves doing this.
Yeah.
She doesn't have it.
Yeah.
She used to play netball and she likes going to the gym and running, but like, I like playing PlayStation. I have these things that I
Very
like.
obvious. Yeah, I think mine would probably be actually learning, is what I'd say. So that could be reading online about probably ADHD or like mental health or psychology. Just learning. It's such a loose term, but kind of learning about my special interests is probably a hobby of mine.
Yeah, right.
I think.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Understanding, like you're constantly looking for knowledge and understanding,
right? And why with anything really. Yeah, probably that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just always bettering myself, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like expanding
totally,
my
girl.
horizons, man.
I got you, man. Hundy P.
I hate how you said that. I hated that.
I love that you hated it.
Chris Serene again, real quick one, says, as per today's DLC in referring to rage quitting, which we talked about last week, I either throw my controller out the truck window or I blame the ECG gods. There's 3 to blame.
Oh, okay. So we're the issue.
I love the idea of him playing, because I think he plays mostly Switch in the back of his truck, and just him be like losing in a game of Mario Kart and just be like, curse you, Ellie, and then just throws it out the window.
Because Ellie is the god of game over.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
me. Ellie personifies.
Yeah. The 3 gods. Ellie is the god of game over. Unfortunately, I am the god of
completion.
Great.
You're the god. Yeah.
I will get you to completion.
Yes.
And you're the god of just starting a million games and then never
I'm the
finishing
god
them.
of starting you off but never finishing you off.
Nice.
No, but hang on. No, but so you're the god of starting.
Yeah.
I'm the god of completing.
Yeah.
And Ellie's just the down buzz one that whenever you die, that's Ellie. Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
Lock
Perfect.
it in.
Lock it in.
There we go.
Accepting donations now. Doing a whip around.
But that is listener feedback, of course. Join us on our Facebook group, because as of right now, for ECG, there's 499 members. So you could be the cool 500th.
Yeah.
Bloody
You
good,
won't get
man.
anything for it.
Yeah, no prize, but come on down.
You can brag.
Yeah.
Come on down. Gaming news.
Let's jump into some gaming news.
Guy, you've got two today.
I got a couple of. I got a cheeky one and a cool one.
Ooh.
A cheeky one and a cool one. Well, actually, you go first.
Yeah.
We'll go
Yeah.
you, me, you. Because
That
Ellie
makes-
didn't bring one,
'cause
but she
again-
did bring a dog.
She did bring a dog.
I did bring a dog.
And I
yeah,
will
she did.
apologise.
If you could
to
call
Ruby.
it a dog.
Oh, don't you
Look at it.
start.
No, I will apologise to Ruby later on in the podcast.
August 26th is a big day for gaming. It is a handshake between consoles. The console wars are officially over.
Wow.
The Versailles Accords.
Versailles?
Versailles.
Is that
Treaty
the
of
treaty?
Versailles.
Treaty of Versailles. I
You
was
are
trying to figure
so worldly.
Yeah.
like,
Treaty
is
of
he
Versailles.
Vermicelli. Isn't that a type of noodle?
Yeah.
Well, it's vermicelli.
Yeah.
Vermicelli.
Man, we're good.
Yeah.
August 26th is the big day for gaming for Xbox and PlayStation because an exclusive Xbox franchise, Gears of War, which has only been on Xbox, they're doing Gears of War Reloaded, which is a remaster of the
Remaster.
first game. It's coming out on Xbox and PlayStation 5, which is a big
Exciting.
thing.
I think,
Wow.
yes, this is huge, right? That
Yeah.
never would you, like, back in the day, we bought an Xbox so we could play Gears of War.
Yeah.
I think when Halo is on PlayStation,
Wow.
that is when
Well, the thing is,
the console war will
on
be
the
over.
exact same day that PlayStation fans can play an Xbox exclusive, the exact same day is when Helldivers 2, the PlayStation exclusive, which came out early last year, is going to be available on Xbox. So on the same day, they are handing over. It's like when two countries have hostages and they send them over across the bridge, and then and then they take them away. You
Lovely.
know? And as what you were saying, heavily rumored that the Halo 1 remaster is coming out on PlayStation this year.
Oh, it will.
Heavily
if,
rumoured.
if there is a Halo 1 remaster happening, it will definitely come out on PlayStation. That's Xbox's whole strategy now. They've made it pretty clear. Indiana Jones, for example, I think it's either out now on PlayStation.
It is out now on PlayStation.
And so that was made by Bethesda, who were bought by controversial opinion, PlayStation 1.
Oh,
Yeah,
like,
oh yeah.
Yeah, like they won the battle.
Yeah.
They won that trade or they won the whole thing?
No, they just won the battle between them and Xbox.
Oh, yeah, totally.
But it's kind of, and Xbox fans, and I've owned two Xboxes, so I love Xbox, but there's a reason why I have a PlayStation 5 now.
Yeah.
And I didn't get an Xbox, whatever it's called, because they just
Series
have more
X, Series
games,
S, yeah.
their owned IPs and stuff, which is better. And Xbox now are having to. It seems to me like Xbox are in a massive shambles at the moment and don't know what they're doing.
They're shifting their focus to more cloud-based gaming and just sort of like the exclusivity thing is a thing of the past.
it's
They've
a
been
shambles.
outperformed by PlayStation in terms of the console wars since the 360, which came out like ages ago.
Yeah.
So the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5 has been pumping Xbox for years.
But having said all this, if you've got an Xbox, the current one, you can still play a lot of amazing games,
Oh, yeah.
right? And hopefully more of those PlayStation games will make their way over to Xbox now as well.
Yeah.
But
Bit
yeah.
of unity, bit of harmony.
Yeah, look at that.
I'm digging it.
My gaming news is something I read this morning, which I was very fizzed up about because I've been thinking about playing this game again. When? I have no idea.
Yeah.
Last of Us 2.
Yes.
So Last of Us, one of the greatest games I think I've ever played. Certainly not top tier Witcher 3, Elden Ring, Dark Souls territory, but very, very good narrative game. Everyone knows that. Spawned a TV show. Last of Us 2 came out. Like, I still love playing those games. I love the storylines and I love the gameplay. God, it was confusing, and I didn't care enough about characters. I'd introduce a character like fleetingly, and then they'd die or something, and I'd just be like, cool, I don't know. Was that? I don't.
It's interesting that you find The Last of Us 2 confusing because you play some confusing games and I felt Last of Us was
No.
very simple.
Totally. I play very confusing games. What I don't want from a Naughty Dog cinematic narrative game is jumping around in the timeline like it's just
Back and
all
forth between
over the place.
characters. Yeah.
Naughty Dog have released a patch today that now lets you play Last of Us 2 in chronological order.
Oh, really?
Yes. So you can
Right.
play it the way it should have been brought out, just from like start to finish. Meet the characters, get attached to them, then they die. Not like, hey, he's dead, now we're going to go back in time and he's alive again, but remember, he died.
Don't get attached to him.
Yeah, we're going to swap main characters now.
It's cool that they've done this, but it also massively acknowledges the fact that they should have
Yes.
done it in the first place.
Yeah,
But it does
interesting.
acknowledge, and I think that's not a bad thing. Like being able to fall on your sword and just admit and go, okay, cool. We learned from a lesson there. It was a bit confusing. Next time we'll keep it pretty.
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing for a studio to be able to do that. Is
Yeah.
great, and I'm excited to have a crack.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
So I think that's a cool move from Naughty Dog.
Yeah.
Black Salt Games, they're the people that created Dredge, the
Dredge.
little fishing indie game that came out from here in New Zealand. Black Salt Games.
and
very
that's
awesome.
why we bring it up all the time because it's a great New Zealand developed game. So
They made in Christchurch, New Zealand. They have announced that they're working on another game. It is not Dredge 2. It is not a Dredge DLC. They've officially thanked all of their fans for everything that happened with Dredge, the support, the love, the 2 DLCs they released, and they said, we're putting it to bed now. It's done.
Yep.
Right? They are working on a new title. We know nothing about that title, but from the announcement of them saying we're working on a new game, they've also launched a secondary studio called Disc 2.
Oh.
Disc 2 is going to be focusing on this game.
That's clever because when you used to install games that were really big, you'd have disc 1 and disc 2.
Disc 2. I thought that was very, very
yeah.
good. The team wants to send a heartfelt thanks to all the fans for their support in the debut title Dredge and would love for you to follow along on our next games. The future horizon for Black Salt Games and our second studio Disc 2 games is shaping up to be an exciting ride. It's like Disc 2 says with the studio focusing on 90s inspired games, which will be bright and colourful, which if you know anything about Dredge, it is not. It's very, very dark and dreary. So yeah, very exciting. Disc 2, Black Salt Games, working on a second title. Dredge in itself won a lot of awards, and Black Salt, with their debut title, like that's really, really cool. So I'm excited to see what that game could be. We know nothing about it, apart from the fact that it's going to have a bit of colour in it.
Oh,
Yeah, so really,
I like
really
colours.
exciting.
I like
Colours are
colours.
good.
Woo!
Yeah.
Chris, you said in the chat very confidently last night, I have an anecdote, and that was it. Would you like to bring it in now? Is it a good segue?
What I hate about anecdotes on our podcast, but now love, and it's Ellie's fault, is because I said casually in passing one day, like, if you've got like a personal anecdote about something, just feel free to bring it into the podcast.
As I finished saying gaming news, I knew Ellie was going to segue into anecdote. And in my head, I was like, how's she going to do this? Is it going to be smooth?
Nope.
Or is it going to be janky?
So yeah, that's like,
well.
and then so Ellie took that as I must announce that I have an anecdote. I must go home and think of an anecdote, and I must come in and say it's anecdote time. Here is my anecdote.
It's like a town crier holding up the thing. Yeah.
It's
Anecdote time.
I do have a hilarious anecdote.
Yes, please.
Oh, you
hit
said
us.
hilarious.
Yeah, wow. Build-ups.
So Monday,
Yep.
I'm at home.
Okay.
Right.
Ooh, a bit of a story.
About to go to work.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, yeah, I've got some stuff to do.
What are you wearing? No,
I am wearing an all green tracksuit
oh,
very
right.
good.
Okay.
of like cuddly hoodie material
oh,
because it's
nice.
my home outfit.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I get a message from Guy.
Yes.
Guy says, "Can you bring your truck and help me pick up a freezer?"
Okay.
I say, "Cool. I will rearrange my entire day.
Oh, no, I knew this was going to be it.
I'll have a shower now. That stuff I was going to do, I will now do after work, and I will use my truck to come and pick up a freezer with Guy.
What a great friend.
Chest freezer.
Chest freezer.
Yeah.
Right, so it's, yeah.
Because I'm a good guy. He
You are a
says,
good guy.
And I'm like, hey, man, the only time I've got free is probably this afternoon, to be honest, because I've got quite a packed week. Sweet as. His wife, Meg, drives to buy the freezer.
She was already out and about. Yeah.
She's already out and about. Goes to drive to buy the freezer.
Yeah.
I then hop in my... I then get a message from Guy saying, I'm out and about, so I'll meet you there. So I'm like, hang on. So there's going to be 3 of us at the freezer?
And is the freezer at a store or is it
It's at a
second hand?
store.
The freezer is at the warehouse.
I need to know the thinking.
At a warehouse. Okay.
Because my logical brain is just
all
like,
right.
what is going on?
Now that I know what the anecdote is, I can help.
Okay.
Painting a picture. We needed the chest freezer because we're doing freezer meals for when the kid's here. right?
Nice. Smart.
Meg's already out and about. We're messaging. She says, I'll buy the freezer because I'm out and about. But
Okay.
she obviously can't do anything about it. I said, all right, well, I'll reach out to Chris, which I did. But then
Yes.
I also had things to do. So I drove off. And then it worked out that at the same, so we're both in separate areas. But then when it came to pickup time, which Chris established, I was like, well, I'm out and about anyway. So I'll meet you there. So don't come to my house to pick me up because I won't be there.
Yes.
So I was like, and I apologized. I said, no, that's very annoying.
That's
and
fine.
And there's that. And then when we put it in your truck, we'll then convoy back to my house.
Oh,
So-
because you'd pictured to be in one car.
Yes, and because
Right.
I was excited, but of course, I will come, I'll pick you up, we'll have some yarns, we'll catch up, we'll go
Nice.
get the freezer,
Yeah.
maybe, but, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, I'm not going to be with you, I'll meet you there. You are purely a delivery driver.
Yeah.
If you were a robot,
And I
that would
acknowledge
be
this.
preferable.
I acknowledge this by saying, huge dick around, I'll buy you lunch.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't want lunch.
Oh,
I want to go for a ride with my mate, pick up a freezer, and then drop it off and help out. That's what
Don't worry, everyone.
If
The
someone's-
story gets worse.
So I will help my friends out at any point.
Yeah.
But the trade-off is we got to hang out, man.
Totally. Fair enough.
And so he's like, oh, actually, don't worry, I'm out and about. I'm like, okay, so there's going to be 3 of us at the freezer. Okay, I
Or 3
don't
cars.
understand, but I will see you there, of course. I then leave the house in my truck. And then I get a phone call from Guy. Hey, it actually fits in my car, so don't worry about it.
oh no.
Yeah,
How far had you gone?
I put the seats down.
Not fun.
Thing is, though, also, Chris said, I'm heading that way anyway because you were going to Repco and you were going to Mitre 10.
No, I didn't.
Oh.
There is a Repco 5 minutes from my house.
Oh.
Okay, there is a Repco 5 minutes from my house.
Yeah.
That's where I was going to head.
But then you were like,
But
I could go to
what
that
I can do
Repco.
is I'll pick you up. We'll go to Mitre 10. I'll quickly grab a couple of the things, and then
I massively messed up his day.
But
Wow.
also, I need you to understand too that it wasn't. I don't actually care that
No,
much.
it's quite funny,
I'm pretty
though.
sure. I just thought it was very funny, and I couldn't wrap my head around why 3 of us were meeting at the freezer.
No,
weird.
never. No, Meg was never going to be there.
Meg was going to be at the freezer.
Meg was
just
going to
wait.
Meg was going to pre-purchase it because I thought it was going to be a lot more hassle.
Right.
You know?
That's not. You just walk up and say, "I want to buy that."
Haggling. You know.
When was the last time you bought something?
Yeah, wait. Do you not have the EFTPOS card or something? Like, why couldn't you just go and do both
Meg
jobs?
doesn't allow me to have the EFTPOS card.
I think that's
You gotta
probably
earn- you gotta-
fair enough.
You got to earn money to spend money.
True.
Guy, you earn your money, all right? You're married now. You're a partnership, so the incoming money's half yours. And
Yeah.
That's how my mind works anyway.
Yeah.
But I do think that you shouldn't have an F-Plus
Yeah,
card.
your impulsivity is concerning.
It is. It's pretty bad.
Nah,
It's
but
pretty bad.
That was my anecdote, and I'm not actually that grumpy about it. I just thought it was
No,
funny.
it's
It's
a
funny
great
because
one.
as it was all happening and when it all happened, I put the freezer in. I was like, man, it's like Chris's worst nightmare. That's the kind of shit that annoys Chris.
Yeah.
Like the whole what are we doing? Like changing plans, all that stuff. I was like, oh
So,
man, that's
the way,
that's like
for example, my brain, right?
Yeah.
And this podcast has been a great journey of figuring out how different brains work.
Mm.
When I'm driving, I will be looking 500 meters up the road to see what's happening up there to decide whether I should change lanes.
Oh, yes. Okay.
So
Yeah. Wow.
I am driving so far in advance of where I actually am in the car. So and I have to figure out the most efficient route whenever I do anything. I have to figure out the most logical way to do something like picking up a freezer. So in my mind, instantly it was like, I will go that way. I'll pick Guy up. We'll go via Mitre 10. I'll go to the Mitre 10 and Westgate, then come back round to the warehouse because it's the fastest way out of there.
Nice.
efficiency. Yeah.
And then so as soon as it's like, there's going to be 3 of us, we're all meeting at the freezer. And I was just like, my brain's like, wait, it doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense.
Ellie, diagnose him to
Yeah. I'm
change the
literally
subject.
sitting there going, this is very interesting.
What do you think I have gone?
Well, I think, do you prefer predictable environments? Like, was that did you get quite thrown when it all of a sudden changed on
No.
you? Or you were quite good at going with flow?
No, I was just like, this
Yeah.
is just ridiculous. So
Sounds-
I'm very happy to be spontaneous too.
Okay, that's
Sounds
good.
like he didn't want to. It sounds like it threw him when he found out that Meg might be there. Do you hate my wife?
That's it.
That's it.
No,
That's it.
what? No. I just explained what threw me was there are 3 of us now at the freezer in 3 separate cars,
Yeah.
and I am driving on my own.
So
Yeah.
so the way that it was going to work was that when all three of us met there, Meg was going to carry the freezer,
Yeah,
drive Chris's truck back.
I'll
You were going to
piggyback
drive
Guy
me. You were
to-
going to you were going to tow me in
I'll
Meg's
bus
car.
home. I'll bus home. that may as well have been the situation. And so my head instantly was just like, I don't understand what's going on.
Fair
here.
enough.
Yeah,
Fair
but
enough.
no, I don't mind an unpredictable environment. In fact, I
Good.
really enjoy
You
it.
thrive. Yeah.
Speaking
Nice.
of things that you do while you're driving, while I drive, do you know what I do?
What?
I listen to podcasts.
Oh,
I listen to the
beautiful.
ECG podcast, but there's also been a podcast. See, that's how you segue.
Dang it, that is good.
Anecdote.
Thank you, Chris. That's how it's done.
I've been looking for a podcast and I was just scrolling Spotify and it came up with a suggested, not podcast, just an episode of a podcast. It's called the 20,000 Hertz podcast. And this podcast is about, it's all about, audio design and stuff like that. So like movie trailers and movies and stuff like that.
20,000 hertz is in
Hertz,
the audio.
H-E, 20,000 Hertz, not 20,000
H-U-R-E.
car rental,
Jeez.
car
Kicks in
rental
the
places.
nads.
This episode was about, what struck me about it is the album artwork was a picture of Master Chief from Halo. I was like, ooh, what's this? The episode of the 20,000 Hertz podcast is called The Autumn She's Been Hit, right? And that's a quote from the first Halo game. The reason I loved this podcast, and I highly recommend it, even for you guys who haven't played the game, to listen to it, because it's 35 minutes of 2 guys. It's a beautiful story of 2 guys from when they were like 16 called Brian. They're both called Brian, high school friends. And is that your dog snoring?
Oh, sorry.
Jesus Christ, Ruby. Far out, snoring her head off down there.
Keep going.
So my story is so boring.
You said it, Ruby.
It's a really
Amen,
beautiful
sister.
story about 2 guys who love Bungie games, right? And as they see that at the time, like 2001. Yes, Chris, question.
When he says bungee games, what do you think?
I was about to go, what's a bungee game?
Bungee jumping?
yeah.
Bungee jumping game.
It's like tag. It's tag. So one person's at the bottom and you jump down and then you tag them and then bounce. No, Bungie Studios, the game that
They
people
make
make.
Halo.
They love.
As soon as
They
you said
love.
bungee
Thank
games, I was
you.
picturing what was inside Ellie's head, and she's like,
I was just like, do I interrupt or not?
It's like tennis, but he jumps. Bungie at the time played a game called Marathon, which they are re-releasing, but this was in like 2001, and they had this big excitement game announcement, Halo, and these two guys were very excited about it. One of the Bryans, unfortunately, at the age of 16, gets cancer, right? So he gets approached by Make-A-Wish. Obviously, Make-A-Wish are the brilliant people that, for kids under the age of 16, they give them a wish to sort of like meet a celebrity or go to Disneyland, they provide it for the families.
my wife volunteers for Make-A-Wish.
Does she?
Nice.
She does.
That's beautiful.
John Cena, the wrestler, since like the early 2000s, he is the most requested person for Make-A-Wish for people to,
Wow.
and he will always do it regardless. He's done like 650 appearances.
That's
Legend.
so nice.
So Make-A-Wish approached him, and instead of going to Disneyland and stuff, he knew that Bungie was releasing Halo. He reached out to Bungie and says, I want to play Halo before it comes out. Bungie jumped on board, so Bungie flew the two Bryans.
Bungie jumped
Bungie
on
jumped
board.
on board.
Bungie, yeah.
Did he?
And it's this really beautiful story about two friends who love Bungie and the game and how they got to play Halo and before the game was released. It's just a random anecdote, but it's called 20,000 Hertz is the podcast and the episode is called The Autumn She's Been Hit.
Right.
I'll put the episode link in our description of this episode. But it's a beautiful story, really well told, and it's real short. So I'd highly recommend listening to it because it's rad.
Yeah.
And it's just a really cool story.
Yeah, right.
Love
And I actually listened to the second episode after that. And
Be careful here, 'cause
he
this is about
leaked
cancer.
all of the game footage and put it all on. And actually now Bungie are really upset with him.
Yeah.
And it turns out he didn't even have cancer.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Nah, I'm just joking. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, well.
Ellie, do you have an anecdote?
Well, my anecdote was kind of the fact that I'd finished Split Fiction, so I sort of prematurely ejaculated on that one. But I finished Split Fiction. No, we don't like the use of that.
I want to
Prematurely
know something.
ejaculated.
Oh.
Surely you've had something else happen this week that's anecdote worthy.
Oh, did a bit of gardening.
Oh,
You
got
never-
it. Here we go.
You'll never see me gardening. I hate it. It's just.
Does your
I
house
hate-
have a garden?
So very minimal, but where there is a garden, there's weeds.
I was
you know
about to
what I
say,
mean?
you weeded.
It's
you pulled
weeding.
stuff out.
Yeah, I actually didn't plant any plants. It was
No.
all weeding, and it was because Sam and my dad, bless, they did a little project together, guys. It was really wholesome. At our house, there's when you knock on the front door, there's a cover, right? Like most houses, you'd have cover there. For some reason, the design of our house, that cover is not a cover; it's just open. So we don't know why it's like that, but it means if it's raining and you're under our front door, you are getting saturated.
So it's like the frame.
Yeah, it's a
but
frame.
there's no actual
Exactly. I think it's a design thing, but it's so impractical. We've lived here for nearly 4 years, and finally, we decided to just basically get a bit of bloody I don't know what it was.
Wood.
But
One bit
bloody
of wood.
And my dad and Sam, they did it together for the day, like last Saturday. Now when we stand under the old
Shelter.
thingy, there's shelter, and it's
Wow.
amazing. And it was really cute to watch them do that together. But because they were on task doing something productive, it meant I then had
You
to.
felt like you needed to do
Yeah.
something productive.
I
Did you
had
feel
to.
good afterwards though?
I did. I did actually. I felt quite achieved. Like that nice sort of motivation of dopamine afterwards of going, look at that. I
Especially
did that.
weeding, because it actually weeding is very satisfying afterwards. You especially take a photo next time.
I should
yeah.
have. Oh, I should have.
Because I
Yeah.
did our entire backyard and a lot of my entire house I renovated, and I took minimal photos beforehand, and it sucks.
Yeah.
So
I
next
did
time,
Meg took Daisy for like 3 or 4 days down to Lower Hutt so I could work intensely on the front garden, and I took so many photos beforehand.
Nice.
And then when I took them afterwards, I was literally for hours just
like, what the hell?
flicking between the two,
Yeah.
like, oh my god, like showing anyone, like, look at the before and after.
look at my front
nice.
garden. Look at this photo of my front garden.
So I actually did something practical at my house, which is very rare. I didn't love it, but I liked the reward at the end. And now when you come into our front door, it is sheltered. If anyone wants to come over and test it out, you're welcome to.
When are you
That'd be
guys
weird.
releasing the video of guy ripping ass outside your front door?
I need
yeah.
to do that.
Yeah.
It's
It's security camera footage of guy ripping
kidding.
ass and not realizing there's a security camera out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you opening the door being like, was that a fart?
fart?
I was like, yeah, it was a fart.
You should put that on like
I
Instagram
know.
and TikTok. 'Cause that's
I know.
hilarious.
It is very funny. I should
was-
okay. I need to remember to do
It was
that.
one of my most proudest moments.
Yeah.
Same, actually. It was one of the moments of our friendship where I went, I love this guy.
Yeah, yeah.
He is my friend forever after
Damn it,
that.
I had already left as well, so
You missed
damn,
it.
I missed guys massive fart.
Yeah, gutted. You love farts, though, eh?
Yeah.
Is this you trying to like join in on fart chat, bro?
Yeah, how am I going?
Look at him go. He looks so
Look at him go.
comfortable.
He's taking the ball. He's running.
He's getting hives. He's like, I hate this.
Anecdote achieved. Well done.
Thank you so much. I also wanted to chat just today about
It's
two
a
of
bit
my
of a chit chat now.
Yeah, a bit of chit chat.
Okay.
Did you want to? Oh, you wanted me to highlight
No,
that
chit-chat,
instead
yep.
of that great segue I was
Chit
trying to.
chat coming right up on
Chit-chat
ECG.
time.
Here it is.
Two of my special interests would be gaming, hence, here I am, video games, but also mental health, as we all talk about. And I've been doing a bit of research recently just for my other podcast, and I came across, and I wanted to bring this just to have a chat about it, because video games are used in therapy. And I didn't really know much about this. I've never used games in therapy, and I've never really researched it, but there's actually games that are designed to help people in actual therapy. I
Right.
just wanted to share a few of them. There's one that's called ADHD. Sorry, it's not called ADHD. It's for ADHD. It's called Endeavour RX, and it's literally designed to improve attention functions in kids with ADHD.
Oh, wow.
And it's been proven to actually improve their attention functioning from playing the game. And it's FDA approved. So this is in the US. But it's basically using adaptive gameplay and motor tasks and distractions to try and keep them not distracted.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really fascinating. Have you ever heard of any games that are actually used or made for therapy?
I haven't heard of games that are made for therapy. I imagine there's plenty of games that are just normal games that people use as a therapy and or subconsciously is helping the ADHD. Like obviously a lot of games are objective based.
Yeah.
So subconsciously they could be helping someone's ADHD, but I've never heard of games designed for it.
Yeah, I was fascinated by that. So that one exists. And then there's also another one called ZooU, and this is more for autism and social anxiety. And it's to help children with autism develop social emotional skills. So it's an interactive story-based game where players make choices in social scenarios. So it's kind of just teaching
cool.
about how you would deal with the social situation, because that's one of the struggles a lot with autistic people. Then did you guys know, I didn't know this, but I feel like this could be common knowledge. Did you know that sometimes Tetris has been used to help prevent PTSD?
No.
Whoa.
Well, the blocks
Yeah.
going together.
Yeah. So apparently there was a study that was done, and basically if someone, again, not proven, it doesn't work for everyone, and this is not medical advice, but when something traumatic happens, like a really intense event, it obviously goes into your memory quite quickly, and then it's all about how quickly your memory processes it later and whether that kind of stays with you and you end up with, horrible nightmares and flashbacks and stuff like that. But apparently it's more likely if someone plays Tetris after a traumatic event, the memories don't get imprinted on the brain as a traumatic experience.
Yeah.
Playing a visually demanding game shortly after that experience engages the brain's visuospatial processing system, which is the same system responsible for storing visual memories of trauma. So like people, again, it may not work for everyone, but they said that if you can get onto Tetris just straight after a really horrible car accident or something.
Honestly, Tetris is the last game I would have thought of to help with mental health.
I know,
'Cause
right?
That game I don't like because it makes me stressed.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Fair
Yeah.
enough. When there's one little box that
I was like, part of me's just like, just stop coming down.
Pause.
Stop giving me blocks.
Yeah, I know.
Like, you've given me enough. All right, let me put these ones in and then you can start.
Yeah.
Wow, so you've cured PTSD.
There you go, guys.
Well done.
Who needs doctors and psychiatrists? You've got me and old Tetris.
You and Tetris.
But
The only one that I have seen, and this is genuine, was since playing Dark Souls on YouTube. There are so many videos about how Dark Souls. It's like Dark Souls has saved me. How Dark Souls saved my life. How Dark Souls cured my depression and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, surely this is like. And I haven't watched any of them, but I read up a little bit on it just to be like, what is this? What's going on? And apparently, the fact that it's so difficult, but you can overcome it if you try really hard.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
People have developed resiliency and shit from it.
That makes a lot of
And
sense.
the ability to cope with stuff. Because in Dark Souls, for example, I got to this part where there's all this lava, and I'm like, where do I go? I can't walk on lava. I die instantly. And then I Googled it, and I should have just like used my brain. And it was like the last boss you just beat gave you the special ring. It didn't say, here it is, your ring of lava walking.
Oh, okay.
It was just a ring. But if you read the description of the ring, it was like, allows you to walk on lava. And so because of the way they don't map everything out for you, like blatantly, here's the answer.
Yeah.
People have worked out that there are ways to figure out difficult situations, that there's always an answer there and there's always a way to solve something.
Yeah.
There you go.
Which is really interesting. Yeah.
See, gaming again, as we will always come back to, gaming is and can be a great thing for lots of different reasons. Tetris, obviously, that you have to act quickly and it has to be done pretty quickly after
Yeah,
the
it
traumatic
is.
event. And it's not going to solve your issue, but I just found it interesting.
I think you'd fire up Tetris while the ambulance team's there working on you
Yeah,
before
have it on
they've
your phone.
arrived.
Yeah, have
So
it on
you're
your
in the
phone.
car crash. You're waiting
Yeah.
for the jaws of life to cut you out of the car.
Hopefully you're conscious.
You're
Yeah.
conscious.
Yeah.
Everyone around you's not. They're all unconscious. You fire up Tetris.
And hopefully,
Boom, you've processed it
It
before
takes
they
it-
even
Yeah,
arrive.
yeah.
exactly right.
I wonder if they're going to be teaching this in like first aid courses. You know, you have those first aid courses in your work site and stuff like that. And it's like, all right, so you come across somebody, they've just fainted. What do? You say you got to check that the area's safe. You got to make sure that they're breathing.
Put them in the recovery
Fire-
position.
Put them in the recovery position. Fire up Tetris.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
then
yeah.
call an ambulance. Like they're just going to include Tetris from now on.
Yeah.
Call
this
an
is great.
ambulance, put it on speaker while you're waiting for the ambulance. Fire up Tetris on your
Yeah.
phone as well.
Yeah, but also you're going to have to turn off, put it on airplane mode once you've done it because you don't want to get ads.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
Yeah.
no,
Like
exactly. I also, but actually, that's probably going to work too, I reckon.
Bacon's a good one.
It is a good one.
It's a
There's
game, by the way.
Yes, it's a game. There's a few other games as well that are designed for therapy. So if you listening have either played one or you know about one, feel free to share it on the ECG podcast group because I find it really fascinating that gaming is also now being used. Sorry, that is my elbows for therapeutic purposes.
Well, there you go.
Also, just one last little, I thought this was really interesting. I went on Reddit because sometimes, there's interesting real person life stories on there. And this is in the Are a Therapist subreddit. So there's a therapist subreddit. And this therapist basically had a teen who they were giving therapy to who had selective mutism, so wouldn't really ever feel comfortable sharing their thoughts, even through writing. And so they told me they don't like their voice or their reflection and said VR chat was one of the few spaces they felt safe.
Oh, wow.
My partner and I, so that's the therapist, had a VR set, so I suggested I could come to that virtual space one day. I noticed that they used an avatar that did not align with their birth sex, along with a voice filter to make their pitch lower. I quickly realised they were likely feeling gender dysphoria, which they named later in treatment, and a referral to speech therapy plus gender-affirming care got them to feel safe speaking over time.
Wow.
It would have taken so much longer for me to realise the root if I hadn't come and played VR with them. Isn't that nice?
That is really
like
cool.
it made them feel comfortable enough to just really show
Yeah,
who
right.
they were.
Imagine
that was
if
really lovely.
the therapy session was like, oh, so you got this kid who's like selective mutism and stuff, so the parents are just like, all right, we're going to meet you in the VR world and you can talk to us then. And they come in with so much confidence that it's like over the top. So you're like, that's the son's avatar, and they walk up and the son's like, what up, Dick Lucas? You're like, whoa. It's like,
okay.
how we hanging, y'all? It's like, oh.
So, because I have been known in the past to make an avatar that doesn't look like me.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Fair enough.
Does that mean I...
Don't look at that every day.
Guy,
Oh.
that is deeply offensive. So one time, for example, I made a guy who had like a really short, like pretty much the shortest face you could make, the widest, the biggest ears, and I used Guy's face as sort of a guide on how to
You
do
brought
it.
it back.
No, but like, I have also been known to, make the old female character.
There you go. No, I don't think that necessarily raises any alarm bells. I think for you, it's actually entertainment purposes, isn't it? Like you're being a little bit goofy and a bit silly. Because I also say, Chris, you're quite confident in yourself.
Am I?
Yeah. Well, I think so.
Okay, that's good.
Well,
Yeah,
you
right.
appear to be
Yes,
anyway.
yes, yes,
yeah.
yes,
So
yes.
I don't think that's necessarily a
That's
thing
just
of
me, just for fun.
just being creative.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I think.
Yes.
Unless there's a mask he's wearing here and we
You're
don't
going to
actually
be
know.
on character creation for Baldur's Gate 3 for about 45 minutes. Just like, now which genitals do I want?
I've already done that for City Project Red's, not City Project Red, what's it called?
Cyberpunk.
Yeah. Spent the largest portion of time I spent on Cyberpunk was getting my wife to come in the room and look how large the large penis size
right?
is.
I did the same thing with Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah, it's just like, check this out. She's like, you wish. She's like, what? What are you talking
Oh, it
about?
looks like mine. What do you mean?
What do you mean? I'm masking as a guy that wishes he had a bigger penis. That is very interesting,
Yeah,
though.
there you go.
Ellie. Yeah.
My two, mental health and gaming coming together and
very
shaking
good.
hands.
I
There you go.
reckon like once a month, Ellie will come in with something about how gaming is actually great.
Yes.
And it just is like cool.
Yeah.
Arming us for, when we need to tell our wives why we like playing PlayStation so often.
Exactly.
All right. So last week I put on the Extremely Casual group for Extremely Casual Gamers Facebook page that I'm going on a couple of very big flights, going to Europe with my wife for a holiday to visit her brother-in-law. Very excited about it. However, it involves 12-hour flight, 2-hour stopover, 12-hour flight to get there.
Yeah, wow.
12-hour flight, 2-hour stopover, 12-hour flight to get back.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
It is.
A lot of flying.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot of flying. Oh my God. You did it. Your group just made it to 500 members.
Oh, there it
I just got the
right
notification.
here.
Thank you very
Live
much,
on the
listeners.
podcast.
Live on the. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
500 people in the group. That's actually great.
That's
really
lovely.
cool.
That's very exciting. But I put a little thing in the group saying, what games would you guys recommend?
Oh, sorry, no, it's 499. Someone just left.
Oh, God.
Did they
Damn
actually?
it. No.
But basically, I said, g'day team, looking for recommendations for a game to play on the airplane using a laptop without a mouse. All right. And more details were in this week's pod last week, which was I have a MacBook Pro. All right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I said it. I don't use it for gaming. I use it for editing.
Okay.
And I'm very much on the Apple, I like using Apple stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. And if I wanted to build a gaming PC, of course,
You would have done
I'd
it.
get a PC.
Yeah,
Yes,
you
I
wouldn't
would
be
have
on
done it.
Apple.
You would have done it by now.
I would have done it by now, and I would have gone over the top and got obsessed
Yes, you
with
would
it.
have.
So let's just get that out of the way. So, for example,
Sorry.
what?
I was just doing a little Viva reference there.
Yeah, well, for example, Tyler Rodden put on the group, all I could think of when you said MacBook and when the customer game's on a Mac, courtesy of Viva. Guy, you were
done
actually
one.
in
Yeah,
that video.
literally,
You were
yeah.
in that video. That's the only reason I've seen that one. It's because you're the guy with the MacBook.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
and
are.
And there was like an Inglorious Bastards reference in there and stuff. It was wicked.
Great.
Does it really matter if you game on a MacBook?
It's just, no, it doesn't matter. But it's just like, I don't.
Like, I
Macs-
have a really fast MacBook for really good video editing.
Yeah.
And-
Macs aren't designed for gaming, but you can.
Yeah.
I think it's just like it's just a PC thing. It's just like no one games
But
on a Mac.
I'd love, and maybe someone can really like clear it up for me. But like, if you've got a powerful Mac and the game is downloadable on Mac and playable and it runs sweet, I don't understand what the issue is.
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
it's just it's not as customizable and it's very expensive. Maybe it's that.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure.
You can kit out your PC and upgrade graphics cards and stuff, whereas Mac's super hard to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
costs a lot. But I also did mention that the game I had lined up was about 6 years old now. It's a point and because I don't have a mouse, it has to be using a touchpad.
Cool.
Because I don't want to use a mouse on an airplane.
Yeah,
I
fair enough.
just don't want to.
No.
And the game I'd lined up was called Disco Elysium. It's won all these awards, one of the greatest RPGs ever made, apparently. But it's all very point and clicky, and it's you don't have to like react really fast or anything like that. So that's top of my list. Also, it was on special the other day on Steam for $4.99.
Oh. Wow.
So I've downloaded that
Fate. Yeah, that's beautiful.
just so people are aware. But heaps of really good recommendations. Now, Miriam Morris, who contributes a lot, she said Balatro, which is the blackjack
Yep.
game that came out maybe last year or the year before.
Came out last year. It was one of the Game of the Year nominees.
That's right, and it kind of took over the world.
Yeah.
And
Everyone
'cause
went crazy for it.
I was watching videos where people were talking about it, and I was like, it just looks like a card game.
Yeah.
But our friend Sam guy, he loved it when it first came
That
out.
sounds like a Sam.
He was addicted to it. So Balatro is certainly one. You can get it on PC. I'm pretty sure you might even be able to get it on your phone as well, which is exciting. Sean Vandermerve, he has suggested Civilization. I have a copy of Civilization 5, I think, on my laptop already from my last trip. It was fine. It just didn't really grab me. XCOM 2. Have you guys played any XCOM games? Stardew Valley, I've played that.
Nice.
Papers, Please, I've heard is quite good.
Papers, Please looks fun. I've seen a few streams of that. It's a
Like you're a customs officer
yeah,
or
you're
something,
a customs
eh?
person. So if somebody comes up in a truck and you get like a checklist. You've got to look for see if they're smuggling people, smuggling drugs. I've seen a lot of TikToks. It's really funny. There's
Okay.
similar vein as there's one where it's like you've got like people coming up to you and you're a bouncer.
I love that.
The bouncer
Those
ones.
reels are so funny.
And there's like people like VR, they're like checking underneath their jacket to see if they're like smuggling in booze and stuff
They've
like
got a
that.
gun under there. It's like, sweet man.
Yeah. But no, Papers, Please is quite fun.
Okay, Papers, Please. I will add that to the list. Sean Vandermerve, thank you very much for that suggestion. Josh Moody, just spend $800 and get a Steam Deck. Josh, I don't have $800 to buy a Steam Deck. Also, I don't want to. I've got a PlayStation. I like gaming on the couch. I don't want a portable thing that will take over my trip. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair. Yeah.
I just want
for
it
the
for the
plane.
plane. Yeah. If I had $800, sure. I mean, I do, but I'm not going to. Have you guys heard of Invisible Ink?
No.
Suggestion from Michael Harborn, one of his top games ever.
Oh.
You control a small team of spies, turn-based
Okay.
missions sneaking into various facilities. That sounds good.
That sounds fun.
Turn-based is good because there's no, and like, you don't have to quickly be concentrating
Reaction
super hard.
speed is not required.
You can just like chill for a bit. Monkey Island, you're a fan of that? That's from Glenn Brown.
Yep, that's what my wife played. It's been redone and rebooted and there've been
Remastered,
sequels
yeah.
and stuff. But yeah, Secret of Monkey Island. That's just a click game, you know.
It is a click game. Manuel Paulo Edward Curran. Lovely name, by the way. Only recommendation I can make, Keezy, is Vampire Survivors. I have heard that this game is awesome. It looks like an ancient game from like the 80s, but I've heard it's super addictive. Although I do have to say nobody games on a Mac. So unfortunately, I'm not going to take your suggestion there, Manuel. Total War series. Have you guys heard of Total War?
I've heard of it.
Rome Total War.
Yeah.
That's a suggestion from Lawrence Ashwin. Slay the Spire from Ben Hibbs. Have you heard of Slay the Spire?
No, I don't think I have. I'm very casual.
I was going to say, you've not heard of it, Ellie?
No, it's surprising, isn't it? Yeah. Wow.
He said Disco Elysium, a vote for that too from Ben Hibbs. Brianna Winkles, my normal go-to game when I don't have a mouse was Civ 5 or 6. So I do have Civilization 5, so I might just fire that up. I've got to stop saying fart that out as a way to, you know what I mean? Like,
I like it.
Yeah.
It'd be like,
Ellie finally engaged in the conversation.
I'm here now. Wow.
she's present. But instead of me saying like, I'll print that off for you now, I'll fart that out for you shortly.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's just is it a verb?
It got a lot of interaction, and I was going to add one, but I thought I'd just mention it on the podcast. Why don't you talk to your wife and read a book?
That's a great suggestion, actually.
Because my wife will be unconscious for every single leg of
She's
this
such
flight.
a sleeper.
She's like you. So obviously I don't have an issue talking to my wife, and reading a book is fine, but I'll just get bored with it.
Yeah.
I need something that gaming completely deletes time.
Yeah.
Like if you're playing a good game, shit, man, time flies.
Tell you what, though, I am actually quite jealous. If you've got a good game and you've got 12 hours and you've got
I
no
have
kids to
nothing
look
else
after,
to do.
like
No.
you've got
That's
nothing
fun.
to do apart from sleep and eat and game,
That's
that is
right.
some quality gaming time. So
That's
I
right.
understand why you don't want to waste it.
And wave down the odd free beer or drink or food
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah.
So, Vampire Survivors came up a lot. Sean Starson. Jory suggested Civilization. Once again, I do have that. Maybe I'll give that another crack. A heap of comments. One from Brandon Nugent there, which I was like, he said, what happened to your Game Boy Advance and Pokemon games?
Good point.
Great question.
I have played them so much
Oh,
that
right.
I cannot play 24 hours straight of Pokemon on Game Boy.
Fair enough.
I mean, you could, but you don't need to.
I could and have.
Yeah.
But I don't want to. It's not enough engaging enough to delete time, like I was saying. I want something that really takes over, you know?
Yeah.
Love it.
But to be honest, so many recommendations for that Disco Elysium game that I was thinking of, like Menzies Goida at the bottom, he said, Disco, Chris, my man.
Yeah.
However, you may drop your Dark Souls run if you touch it. So that's something I'm looking for, something that will completely make me forget that Dark Souls exists.
Yeah, okay.
Someone suggesting that it is that good.
Okay, cool.
Any games that have popped into your head, Ellie?
Not really, because as you know, very casual. Don't know a lot of games anyway, let alone something so specific to a Mac with no mouse and a touchpad. Do you remember? Oh my gosh, I saw this on TikTok the other day. Do you remember Ski Free?
Is that the one where you're just skiing downwards?
Yeah, and like you'd hit like
Yes,
so
and there's
remember
like a
that?
monster would come out and there's trees.
Yes,
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about that in years, and I just saw it on TikTok. I just brought that up. Not that that's something you could play, but or could you?
I loved that game.
So did I as a
Yeah.
kid. I forgot about it completely. But no, you've come to the wrong place here. I
Okay.
really don't have any suggestions.
You've come to the wrong place.
Minesweeper, you could get back into that.
Ellie, I need suggestions from the last 20 years. Minesweeper.
Okay.
Plague Inc. I've played on the plane a lot. That's a bit of fun.
That's the one where you're trying to infect the world, right?
Yeah. You start off with these different types of diseases, and then like you've got to infect the world, and then the world discovers your virus, and they all fight back.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's
But close to home, isn't it?
Well, look, I'll add those to the list. I'm going to go shopping on Steam. I'll be looking out for Vampire Survivors and also Papers, Please, I think.
Papers, Please. I want you to play.
Yeah, I think I'll enjoy those. And also Hades was suggested as well. I'll look into that. But then I don't want to have to take a switch. I've decided I want to be as little stuff as possible.
Fair enough.
So yeah, I think those are the three games. Disco, Civ is there as well, Civilization, Vampire Survivors, and Papers, Please. Those are going to be my four that I'll take with me, I think.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks to the group for being so
Yeah, very
engaged.
helpful, guys.
There was a lot of comments on that. I
Heaps of
noticed
comments.
that.
I really appreciate it. It was great.
That was great. Well, Guy, this is like probably your last podcast forever because we're firing you.
Yeah.
So see you later.
Fair enough. It's been great.
No, but this is probably your last podcast for a few weeks.
Yeah, I'm definitely not going to be here for the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Well,
baby, due.
Four
Very
at
soon.
least. Because you're away for 3, right, Chris?
Yeah, so next week, Ellie and I will do a podcast, which which will highly likely feature my producer James Pugsley from work, who's happy to jump in. He's a long-time listener. I think he's listened to every episode. And then I'm away for 3 weeks on holiday.
Yeah.
Guy's busy, so we were like, we'll just take 3 weeks off.
Yeah.
So for the next month, you will have no Guy.
No, mate.
Yeah, no guy.
Hopefully, when we get back, you've got enough sort of spare time there to come and join us.
Yep.
Bit of zip. I'll come in. And yeah, so I'll be having a baby. Baby is due any time now, really.
Yeah.
It's going to be here by the end of next week. It will be here.
At the
my
very
gosh.
latest.
At the very latest. So I'm going to be a dad of 2 at some point in the next 9 days.
Oh, I'm so excited for you. How are you feeling?
I'm excited.
Yeah?
It's cool. It's really nice having my wife off with maternity leave. We've got a lot of stuff done in the last week,
Nice.
like just to get ready. You're never ready when it comes to kids. We're never ready for the first one and the second one, but once that kid's here, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
So
I'm such a prepper, so that when I have my first kid, I'm like, I want to have everything lined up, ready to go. I want to be like, I know exactly what's happening.
and then the kid will come and go, shit, we haven't got this.
Yeah.
Because there's always something. But for maternity leave this time round, last time with Daisy, I was off for 2 weeks and then I went back to work and Meg was off for 4 months, whereas I'm not working anymore. So me and my wife get 4 months off. Daisy, we're going to kindy for most of the day. So we get a lot of bonding time with my wife and my new son or daughter. So,
Oh, that's so exciting.
yeah, I'm going to be off for a month. I'm going to miss you all, but kid.
yeah.
gonna be pretty
Another
cool.
kid.
yeah, man, don't you rush if you need more time, sweet
exactly.
as. If you want to come straight back, I get that as well.
I
So-
will try and do some gaming as well.
Yeah.
Because
Wow.
I do enjoy it.
Yeah. Nice. Well, yeah, good luck to you and Meg. And I can't wait to see Daisy be a sister as well.
Oh, she's going to be rad. She's going to be the
she's gonna
coolest
be
little
so
older
good.
sister.
One thing before we wrap up, I'm currently patting Ellie's dog Ruby, and I would like to apologise to Ruby on the podcast for calling her pathetic
Thank you.
about a month ago.
Do you still think she's pathetic?
No, I don't. I think she's adorable. She is very cute. And actually watching her walk along beside you on the leash is what won me over. She walks quite, I don't know.
She's really stocky for how
Yeah.
small she is. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like when you were going to town in your teenage years and guys would walk around thinking they were tough.
It's literally that.
It's like, Dad, hey, Ruby.
Yeah. Oh,
You
yeah.
little
You're
goose.
friends now with Chris. That's nice.
She's
Yeah.
pretty gutless, though.
Oh, okay.
Guy.
You can leave now. Hey, have a great week. We have a very exciting DLC coming out on Monday.
Yes.
A special guest.
Yes,
we
we do.
reveal it. Oogly boogly.
I think we do.
Yeah, I reckon we do.
Yes, Nicola Best. She works for Weta Workshop, and as you know, with the people behind the Lord of the Rings. And there is a game coming out on the 29th / the 30th of July called Tales of the Shire. It is a cozy Lord of the Rings Hobbit game. She is a programmer on the game. She's super nice. We've already recorded the chat with her. Great chat, and it's coming out on Monday.
So interesting. Even though I've never seen any of the movies or anything, I really enjoyed the chat. It sounds like a game I'd like to actually genuinely play. And she also shared just like insight about what it's like to be a game developer, how you get into it, and just like generic stuff like that. So yeah, that'll be coming out on Monday. Otherwise, we'll see you in a month, Guy. I'll see you next week, Chris.
Yeah.
Have a great week, everyone.
We'll see you later. Bye.